Hello and welcome to our new program. Right now I am in the Red River Gorge geological area. It is part of the overall Daniel Boone National Forest here in the great state of Kentucky. And as you can see behind me, we have some amazing views of the valley. The colors are changing on the trees, and over just off in the distance is probably one of the better known landmarks, the Natural Bridge Arch. Of course, this area just isn't about amazing views. It's also about all the activities you can do once you arrive. From camping to hiking to horseback riding to rock climbing and even zip lining, it is a true destination for folks wanting to connect with and experience nature. And that really ties in well with what our new program is going to be about. Very simply put, we believe everyone should be able to experience the great outdoors. We also believe that no matter if you're looking just to get to the parking lot to get to your favorite trail, or whether you're getting to that off-the-grid camping spot, the best way to get there is in a four-wheel drive vehicle. That, of course, means that we will be reviewing new models, sharing with you the important features of them, but we'll also be taking them on designated four-wheel drive routes and trails to see how they do when the going gets rough. And we're going to find out which of them really have what it takes to get you there and back. And no matter whether you're getting something new or you have something with a well-aged patina on it, we're going to look at a variety of products you can install to make them more comfortable and capable, whether on or off-road. Along the way, we'll interact with various members of the four-wheel drive community, we'll attend some events, and we'll pass along some four-wheel drive knowledge to make you more capable and comfortable when you are off-road as well. To get things started off, this weekend I'll be attending an organized four-wheel drive event, and in fact, I'm not just attending, I'm going to lead one of the groups out onto the trails. So let me continue making my way down the path here to a little lower elevation, where I'll give you some more details about the event, as well as show you what we brought to lead the trail with. Let's talk a little bit about the event we're going to be attending. It is called the Meet and Greet Ride. It started about 5 years ago as a way to help the local economy get a little boost at this time of the year. The trails we're going to be using for that are known as the Daniel Boone Backcountry Byway. It is a system of county roads that are improved and unimproved, and it forms about a total of a 100-mile loop. We're going to be going on certain sections of it. It is the perfect setting for those looking to get into four-wheeling. That being said, they are true four-wheel drive trails, and you're going to need a vehicle that is capable and dependable to get you through. And especially since I'm going to be leading a trail, I'm going to need something that works really well. You may have noticed over my back shoulder is a Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. This one happens to be the Rubicon, which I think we all know is a very capable vehicle from the factory. The outside has been treated to about a 3.5-inch lift, some larger, more aggressive mud tires, and there's a winch in case things get really bad out there. That being said, it is the perfect vehicle to take on this kind of an event, which is exactly why I'm not going to be taking it, and instead, I'm going to be driving something else. Else would be this 2020 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road model. And to help me go ahead and go over the features with you, I brought in my good friend Dave Logan, who I've been rowing with for about 20 years. Dave, it's a pleasure to see you here today.
Well, great. Thank you. It's good to be here.
And one thing I wanted to ask you, you are an internationally certified four-wheel drive trainer.
Correct.
What exactly does that mean?
What that means is that I had to pass a series of tests, driving tests, off-road recovery tests, written exams, and so forth in order to be certified.
So you know a thing or two about 4x4s?
Yes.
All right. Let's talk Tacoma. Where should we start?
Under the hood. We're already up here.
All right. Let's get it open.
Well, Kevin, this has got the 3.5-liter V6. It's good for 278 horsepower and 265 foot-pounds of torque. It gets around 20 miles to the gallon in the city, 23 on the highway.
That's really in line with what I got coming down, about 19.7, so
okay.
Those numbers
Cool.
Pretty close, yeah.
And this truck happens to have the 6-speed automatic, but a 6-speed manual is available as well. The transmission.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, it's good for towing about 6,500 pounds with the proper setup.
Right. So that's cool. And it has the electronic locking rear differential as well.
Which definitely helps in off-road situations.
We'll use that tomorrow, yeah,
all right.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Let's go take a look at the interior.
Yes, hello. All right, well, in here we have the four-wheel drive selection knob, which will give you high range and low range. Of course, you have to go into neutral to go into the low range, but that's pretty standard on all the four-wheel drive models in the Toyotas. Up here we have some cool features. So we have crawl, which is off-road cruise control. You push this button and select one of 5 different speeds from 1 mile an hour up to 5 miles an hour. This system basically uses brakes to control your speed, and it allows you to focus on driving and not have to worry about adjusting the gas pedal as you go. You just set it and steer and focus on the obstacles ahead. In addition, it has MTS, which is multi-terrain select, and use the same knob that I use for crawl. Right now it's in mud and sand mode, but when I turn the knob, it goes to loose rock, mogul, rock and dirt, and just rock. In addition, the really cool button up here is the electronic rear locking differential. So if the traction control systems fail to get you over the obstacle, you can cheat kind of and push the button, and that usually will get you where you need to be.
Dave, now this also has some advanced safety features on it too, right?
It does. It's got the STAR safety system.
Okay.
And so part of that is the Smart Stop technology. That came about as a result of unintended acceleration. And so what it does is if you apply the gas pedal and the brake pedal at the same time, it will automatically stop the truck for you. Okay, come to a complete stop because it's electronic drive-by throttle by wire. And so that's a great feature on road, but it no longer allows you to use left foot braking
Modulate
off-road.
back and forth.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
So.
Great. So one of the other things this is equipped with are some trail cameras, and these are built in at the front. Of course, you have the rear backup camera, and then you have side cameras underneath each of your side view mirrors. And there's a button over on the left-hand side of the steering wheel area on the dash, and you can hit it, and it will change the view. And there you can see the sides of the vehicle. Those are directly below the mirrors. We put it in reverse. You can see what it's going to look like, and those lines help you back up so you don't hit anything. And that's how the off-road trail cams work, or the backup cam works. So just below the screen are going to be your HVAC controls. This is dual zone climate control, so both the passenger and the driver can select different temperatures. It also has heated seats, as you can see there. And over here we got our hazard light warning. It does use a engine start-stop button, so as long as the key is within the vehicle, it will start and stop. Already talked about the four-wheel drive selector. And then down lower below that, we've got some additional buttons down here. On the left, we have the blind spot monitoring system, which is very nice. The ECT button is going to change the transmission shift points, going to hold the RPMs on the transmission to a little bit higher range before it shifts. Of course, we have the rear parking button there, the rear window open and close button, a USB port, and then the button there with the funky symbol is the wireless charger, which takes place if you put your phone down in that area, and then a more traditional power port on the right-hand side.
So Kevin, in addition to having the TRD Off-Road tuned suspension with the Bilstein shocks, this has the optional adjustable cargo cleats, and that allows you to tie down your gear so that it's not bouncing around or even bouncing out.
That's nice.
So yeah, it really is. It's adjustable forward
Adjustable,
and back.
so no matter what you're carrying back here, you can really make sure it's not going anywhere.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yep.
And another thing about this is it also has this dampened tailgate, so it's not slamming down on you when you least expect it. And then over here, we've got this power outlet, and there's a button inside the cab. You want to run a fridge back here if you're camping. You know, you need to have maybe some accessories you need. You can have power in the truck. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pricing on this one. And of course, things may have changed a little bit on price since this one came out, but this will give us a good ballpark. Base price, $36,965. And then the two big hits on here are $1,670 for the advanced technology package and $42.85 for the TRD Premium Off-Road package. And then towards the bottom, we've got some a la carte items down there. We have the exhaust system, we have the TRD front skid plate, the TRD air cleaner, and so on and so forth. And then down at the bottom, we have the delivery processing and handling fee, $11.20 on that, giving us a total of $47,364. That is going to do it for going over the important features on the Tacoma. Dave, thanks for coming out and taking a look at this with me. Of course, you're going to be joining me on the trail ride tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So I think at this point, let's call it a day. Let's go get something to eat, and we'll see you guys bright and early in the morning. Good morning and welcome to Trail Day 1. Right now we are at lineup. It's taking place at Hollywood Park, which is where the more advanced trails are going to be run. People looking for a little bit more difficulty than what our group is going to be running on the byway trails. And if you've never been to one of these events, this is pretty standard. We start early in the morning so we can get a full day's trail ride in. And all around me you can see different vehicles, different build types. The event is open to any make and model four-wheel drive, which is great. Doesn't leave anybody out. Also side-by-sides as well. And there are different levels of difficulty, right? Some people want a little bit easier ride, more scenic, like we're going to be kind of going on a little bit, I guess you could say, as well as more hardcore. You're going to see some more built-up vehicles as well. And if you've never been experiencing the fun of lining up, you're going to come in, you're going to go ahead and line up over here. They're usually going to do what's called a tech inspection, and that's where they make sure you have the proper equipment to be in the group you've signed up for. For example, the extreme group, as they call it, needs a winch and certain tire size and front and rear locking differentials and a few other things as well. So anyway, folks, I'm going to get back here to helping with the initial setup here in the morning, and then we'll be right back and hopefully be on the trail soon. So here is the route we're going to run both days. And again, the footage you're going to see is going to be a combination of both days, so you can kind of get a well-rounded opinion of how the Tacoma did. And you can download this exact map from CartoTrax. They're the official map provider for the Byway. And this is a GPS-enabled map, so you'll be able to see exactly where you are as long as you have signal. Right now we are on our first trail of the day. It's going to be more scenic than, I would say, a true challenge for anything. But it is a great way for entry wheelers to get out and get an experience out in nature, see what their vehicle is capable of, and have a lot of fun with it. The other thing I kind of wanted to show you guys right now was here on the dash cam for the trail stuff. You can kind of see what it looks like in a more trail type setting, I guess would be the best word. Here you can kind of see it. It's going to show you what's in front of you as well as on the side. Again, those cameras mounted underneath the side view mirrors. Generally along these types of trails, if there's something difficult, they're going to have spotters out to help you know which way to turn. But if you're by yourself, which I don't recommend to do if you're out four-wheeling, that can be a very useful resource for you. You can see what's on either side of you. If you've been wondering what exactly a diff locker can do for you off-road, this little section right in front of the truck is going to be a great example of that. As I move down through these little rutted sections and drops-offs, the momentum of the truck is going to be stopped as the front kind of pitches one way and we raise that rear driver's side tire in the air. And because we have an open diff in the back right now, all the power is sent to the wheel in the air and it spins. But as soon as I go ahead and push that diff lock button, we then lock up that rear end and we also send power to the tire that's on the ground, and then that moves the truck forward. And that's the beauty of a diff locker. You can be suddenly stopped, not going anywhere, lock up the axle, and you're right on your way. The rest of the trail offered some scenic views with a sprinkling of obstacles here and there. Eventually, we made our way back onto the main road. Again, we still got a lot of trail to cover this afternoon. Gonna get into things that are maybe a little bit picking up the level a little bit as far as difficulty. But again, still entry-level four-wheeling, but we're really gonna see, does it have what it takes to get you there and back, right? And it certainly wouldn't be a trip to the gorge without a drive through historic Nada Tunnel. Completed in 1911, this 900-foot-long tunnel was originally used by locomotives to transport timber from the gorge area to the sawmill up the road in Clay City, about 15 miles. It's one way, so be careful and check that there's no oncoming cars before entering. I really like this next section of the route. It really gives us a chance to test the truck out on multiple types of terrain, from more technical sections through these trees, as well as some deeper mud holes, many off-camber situations. It should be a lot of fun as we go forward. So right now I'm going up a little bit of an off-camber area. It pitches the vehicle to the left, on the driver's side there. And I ran this the first day and got a little bit stuck in here, had to use the diff locker. This time I went ahead and put the diff locker in before I went up. Smooth as glass, no issues or problems. That first day I backed up a little bit and had the ABS kick in. I'm not sure if I was in 4 high, 4 low, but it was just a little disconcerting with that. Now as you watch Dave go up this, keep in mind he is locked in the front all the time. It never shuts off. It's a full-time locker, so he just goes right up it. He did pitch a little bit there towards the driver's side as he went up, but nice job. Right after that off-camber section is this solid bottom mud hole. The Tacoma did fine going through it. And as you can see here as Dave makes his way through, it's about halfway up his 33s. Just a nice steady momentum and you'll come right out the other side. Right now we're going up a little section. I've engaged the locker. We're just going to we're tilting over on the driver's side. It's a pretty good tilt. Nice and easy here. The rear locker is just pushing us up and over and through the obstacle without a problem.
Back here, Kevin.
Thanks, Dave. Had the locker in, just went up it nice and easy. That rear locker just makes a tremendous difference on how this thing works off-road. Up next was a great spot to show you how well a Tacoma does in true off-camber situations. So as I come down here, I'm going to try to stay in the ruts. And then you're going to see the front driver's side tire kind of hit this rock right there, and we lose a little bit of momentum. The rear driver's side tire is kind of up in the wheel well, kind of all crossed up right now. I'm going to go ahead and try to back up. I'll give them more power, try to bump over those rocks, but they're wet, the tires are wet. So at this point I could have given it a little bit more power to try to overcome all this, but I didn't want to beat on the truck, so simply hit the cheat button. Dave decided to take a little bit more steeper approach to the off-camber, staying out of the ruts in fact, and then gently setting it down nice and easy to flatter ground. right now I'm going through a section called the Little Waterfall. It's not a particularly difficult obstacle, but it does have some razor rock on it. I am using my side mirrors here. Hopefully it'll be okay. Real tight here. So what you want to do with this obstacle is kind of, split the difference. You don't want to be too far left, too far right, if you're able to. And as I kind of go along here, just trying to check to make sure we're even, and then slowly bringing the truck up, giving a little bit of throttle input. Go ahead and climb a little ledge, and then in short order, we're up and out of it. Next up was our final trail of the day, a moderate uphill that would truly test out the Tacoma. There are a lot of little ups and downs and off-camber spots through here. Got the rear locker engaged. It is wet and slick, being bounced all around a little bit as we go up. See how we do here. I have a feeling we're going to make full use of all the skid plates on this one. Yep. That's what those are there for. Protect the vital components. Nice. But right now the Tacoma is having no problem going up this. In the background you may hear the V8 from Dave's vehicle, adding a nice ambiance to the mood. That back up there, it's a little better. Looks like we've got a natural spring running down the trail here. Oh yeah. A little extra gas to get over that spot for me since we're a little bit lower. Really nice that we've got those TRD skid plates on this. Alright, now we've reached a bigger section of the hill. A little more skid plate action. Going right up here. It is just wet and slick and all kinds of rocks going up through here. Water really can change how a perfectly easy trail becomes suddenly difficult. Sorry for all the bouncing here, but we're on a real trail. Got a little bit of a stair step here we're coming up on. Oh, sun's right in my eyes. There we go, easy. All right, we've crested the top of the hill. And with that final ledge complete, it meant we were done with the day's trail ride, as well as our testing of the Tacoma. Good news, made it back from the event, had a fantastic time down there, got to see some old friends, met some new ones, and just generally had a great weekend. Before I get into my thoughts on how well the truck did, I wanted to give a big thank you to Toyota for allowing me to take it off-road for 2 days. Very much appreciative to those folks. I think it's fair to say that the Byway provided a really good test for the Tacoma. It had a little bit of everything to offer, right? Gravel roads, rutted sections, mud holes, off-camber areas, hill climbs, tight twisties through the trees to negotiate through. Definitely plan to keep using that as an area to test vehicles out. So folks, going to share some insights with you on my experience driving the truck, how I felt about it, what I felt maybe was a little lacking, what I felt was outstanding. So let's start with, I guess, maybe what I felt was a little lacking. Drove the truck down about 2.5 hours, obviously wheeled for 2 days and then drove it home. Did probably somewhere around 350, maybe close to 400 miles in the truck. The one thing I kept going back to was the seat comfort just wasn't there. They weren't horrible, don't get me wrong, but I just felt it was lacking a little something. I don't know what that something is, but go out, see what you think, see if you arrive at the same conclusion on that. I'm not truly a huge fan of the rotary push and touch four-wheel drive engagement knobs. I just like that mechanical lever a little bit better. And when going from two-wheel drive to four high, it worked great. But when I had to go from two-wheel drive into four low, I had to do it a couple of times. It just didn't go in as seamlessly as it did from two-wheel drive into four high. One of the other things that I found on the trail was, for whatever reason, and this could have been on me, I might have had the, in the wrong setting, could be mistaken, but the ABS didn't seem to disengage in four-wheel drive low range. I was in an off-camber situation. I went to back up the truck a little bit to kind of reset, and the whole truck kind of had that ABS feeling engaged to it. It was a little unsettling, in the least. And again, it could have been me. Maybe it was in four high, and I would expect ABS to work in four high certainly. But just one of those little nitpicky things. let's talk things I really liked about the truck. I like the fact that it has the crawl control, and I like the fact that it has the multi-terrain select. I think that's great because there's a lot of people out there who are unfamiliar with how to drive off-road, and that's really going to give them an edge up in difficult situations they might not be prepared for. It gives them a little bit of extra help that they need, and I really like that those are in there. I like the overall styling, exterior and interior wise. I think it's a great looking truck. I think the interior is well thought out and well laid out. Controls are with easy reach to get to everything with that. I also like that, the colored accent. I don't know what color that's called, orange, reddish orange, burnt, I don't know. It just looks neat in there. On the way home, late at night, I got to experience the adaptive cruise control. I think it's called the radar adaptive cruise control. I'm probably getting that wrong. But what it is you set the cruise control, and then if you come up on a vehicle that's moving slower than you, it adjusts your speed, and I had that happen. I set the cruise control at the speed limit, which was 70 on the way home. I came up on a car that was going slower than me. Noticed the truck slowed down on its own, a gradual slowdown. And then once I was safe to go ahead and pass it, I passed it, and then the cruise control saw there was nothing in front of me, and we sped back up to the original speed. That was really neat and a great safety feature as well. For me, however, the single biggest factor in making this truck successful is the rear locking differential. It takes it from being just average to well above average, in my opinion. Every time I came to something on the trail that I just couldn't get through with 4 low, I hit that diff lock button and the truck responded. It went over, on top of, or through the obstacle with ease. On day 2, we ran the same exact obstacles, and before I got to those challenging spots the day before where I had to go ahead and get into it and then hit the locker, I hit the locker ahead of time and just coasted right through those sections. It was really night and day difference. So really the only thing left to answer is, does it have what it takes to get you there and back? And based on how well it did this weekend, I would say that is an absolute yes, it does. That is going to take care of it for this review. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming future episodes. We've got a lot of cool things planned. We've got a lot of 4x4s we're going to try to get a hold of and test in a similar manner as we did on the Tacoma. So everybody have a great day, and I'll hopefully see you guys soon on the trail.